All right. Welcome back to another Cooking with Captain Matt Weber, and today we're going to do fried snakehead. I caught me some bullseye snakehead this morning, and we're going to fry them up. Now, I need help. I don't do this by myself. We grill things, we cook things, but it takes a team sometimes, and I want to introduce you to my team. This is my primary team member, Dr. Amber Weber Extraordinaire, and this here is Ellie Weber. She is the sauce making champion of the whole wide world. This is amazing. She makes this, which is incredible sauce for dipping gator meat, or fried fish, or what have you. This is the absolute best sauce. I'm going to have Ellie Weber do a Cooking with Captain Matt Weber video on how to make this sauce. You're absolutely going to love this. This is absolutely dynamite. This goes incredible with the alligator and fish and such. So we're going to take these bullseye snakehead. I'm going to be on the fryer. Dr. Amber Weber is going to be on the breading station, and Ellie Weber already took care of the sauce. So we got all that going for us, and we're going to make this all happen. So thank you for tuning in, and welcome to another fine day full of fun and adventure. So the critical step in getting our bullseye snakehead meat ready for frying up is prepping it for dredging and breading and all that good business. So you can see I've already filleted all this stuff out. We've chunked it up, taken the bones out. So the key thing is getting the bones out, and Dr. Amber Weber is going to take care of all of the dredging, the battering, and then she's going to bring it out to me to the cooking station. So the key part that I want to impart upon you is the dredge and the seasoning for whatever it is you want to put on your breading, for whatever it is you're going to fry. We're going to have us another video on how to make the breading and such. But the key thing today is how to fry it up. So it's going to come to me out at the station, and it's going to be breaded or dredged and breaded, but we use Tony Sanchery's. We're going to use mustard. We're going to use it. It takes a whole lot of things that I don't really focus on personally. But once it's dredged and ready to go, we're going to get it in the fryer, and I'm going to show you how to make that magic happen. So here we are at the fryer. So a couple of things you want to pay attention. The fryer's already going, but there ain't nothing on it. And I did that for a reason. I don't want to leave any type of oil on the fryer or on the flame unattended. So when I have oil on this guy, I do not want to leave it unattended. It's very important for you to understand that. And the other thing is, if you have a fire extinguisher, which I highly recommend that you have one nearby, make sure A, you know where it's at, B, that it's in good serviceable condition, and C, you know how to use it. You want to make sure that your day doesn't end in tragedy. You want to make sure that you have all the right safety gear in place. So let's go ahead and fire this up. I'm going to use peanut oil. So I'm going to take my vessel, and I'm going to fill this dude up with this delicious peanut oil. So I am going to pour this in here, and I'm going to use this entire jug. I believe this is 1 gallon's worth, and it's going to fill this dude up maybe about 1/4 of the way, and that's going to be enough for me to be able to take and layer in this center section, in this little hold pan. I'm going to be able to lay in all of the little bits right on here, and I'm going to dunk it in, and it's going to fry up. And then when they float all up to the top, it's going to be done. So this is the initial start. Pour in the oil. I did it away from the flame just to make sure everything's safe. I got my fire extinguisher here handy if I need it. I got another one in the garage in case it gets out of control, but I don't anticipate that happening. So let's go ahead and slap this bad boy on the flame. Meanwhile, Dr. Amber Weber is dredging and breading the first batch. So this thing's going to get underway, and we're going to be frying here before you know it. While this is heating up, this grease and this peanut oil is going to start getting hot. So I've added a thermometer on here. This thermometer is measuring just the oil. It's not touching the pan, it's not touching anything else, just the oil. I'm measuring this to see when it gets into the 300, 350 range. I don't want to fry in the 500, 600 range. That's going to scorch and burn everything. So I don't want to do that.
This is the process for breading your fish and preparing it to go into the oil. We start with these fish nuggets. We keep them pretty dried out. We set them on the strainer so we don't have that fish goo kind of building up in there. And then we move everything from the left to the right. We kind of keep everything moving in the same direction, so we limit how much we're cross-contaminating back and forth and how much we have ingredients mixing back and forth. So we start, first of all, by giving the fish a nice bath. We put it in a bath of milk, eggs, mustard, and then because the family likes a lot of flavor in what we do, we put a little bit of crystal sauce in there so that the flavor sinks down into the fish rather than having it all sit in the breading. So we start everything with this little bath. Then we use our tongs to kind of drain everything off, and it goes into the breading. We can do a few bits at a time. You don't want to overcrowd your breading. We do a simple shake and bake technique here. We don't want to bring too much of the egg bath over. But we put this in the breading, then we cap it, and we do a nice shake and bake on it. So then that should have coated everything in there nice. So we've got a good coating of the breading in here. This is a standard breading. You can buy it in most grocery stores. We use either the Zatarain's or the Louisiana fish fry breading if we don't mix it from scratch. You can mix it from scratch with flour, cornmeal, a little bit of Tony's, but we usually just buy the grocery store brand, and then we zap it up with a little bit of Tony's seasoning. But once you have it shaken in, you're gonna put it in a strainer to get that excess breading off of there. And that's all we do. Again, we're just gonna shake it down. We're gonna get the excess breading off of there. And then you have these nice nuggets that are ready to go into the fryer.
So here we are on the next phase of this process. I learned how to fry from a very good friend of mine named James Skull, and he is one of the best cooks that I've ever had the pleasure of eating food from. So one of the things that I learned from him is between 350 and 400, typically at 375 is where we want to be on this oil. This oil is right in the money spot, so we're ready to fire it up. I'm going to back it down just a little bit to make sure it don't get overpowering. But here we've got batch number 1 and batch number 2. So we're going to fire this up. But before I even dunk this in the fire, or in the oil, here's what I'm going to do. I got a receptacle to receive with a lot of paper towels up in here. Oftentimes you want to use newspaper, either one. Paper towel, newspaper, you're good to go. Notice I got my oil can, I got the fish fry ready to go, I got a drink that's almost empty. That needs to be remedied. Oh no. But more than anything else, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start rolling this in. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm pulling the center section, and now we're going to load this guy up. Yep, just pull that out, please. Thank you. Mishaps abound. So let's go ahead and we're going to load this guy up. So we're just going to take all these little dudes here and we're just going to lay them in. Now that we've got all these in, the bottom is pretty much covered. I'm gonna lay these into the oil, and here they go. Gently. The key is slow. Gently lay that in. And now we're going to sit here and we're going to wait for these guys to do their thing, get hot, and we're gonna wait for them to start floating. When they start floating, it's gonna be done. We're gonna pull them out and we're gonna put them in. We're gonna wait till they're a nice golden brown, floating to the top, and then that batch is gonna be done. And then it's just rinse and repeat. And we've got a whole lot of snakehead to cook up because I absolutely crushed them today. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's stay by the fire and keep an eye on it. And you're gonna wait for these guys to pop up off the bottom and kind of start floating around, and that's going to tell me that they're done. And we're also going to be judging the color of these guys. If you got the oil too hot, they're going to be very dark, very fast. That means you're burning the heck out of them. You don't want to do that. And if they're too light colored, that means they're probably not cooked enough. So there is a little fine line between when they're done and when they're not, and they can absolutely be burned as well. So here I'm going to show you what this looks like. Oh man, look at how golden brown those dudes are. This is going to be righteous. So I'm giving them a little shake to make sure that they're not sticking to the bottom. And now that I know they're not sticking to the bottom, when they start floating up to the top, these guys are going to be done, and they are a beautiful color right at this minute. So once this is finished, I'm going to dump these in that receptacle, and I'm going to load it up and rinse and repeat. Here we got everything floating. Go ahead and take your little looky-loo in there. So all of these came up to the top. They're floating. These guys are done. It's time to go ahead and get ready for the next batch. We're going to pull these. We're going to put them in the bucket. So here I am. I am draining these guys. These are a tad darker than I would care to see them, but I promise you this, they're not overdone. They're not underdone. I guarantee you these guys are going to be just right. So I'm draining all that oil out, and now I'm going to put it into the bowl. Here we go. Dump. Now, the important part. We come right back to the next batch, and we get it ready to go. We're going to load this guy up. Careful, it's hot. Just like that, and now we're going to dunk this dude right back in. You ready? Here we go. Round two. Oh, you got to love that. Ease that bad boy down in there. You don't chunk it in there. This is not a fast process. You ease that bad boy on in there. Otherwise, you can get out of control. You can catch on fire. You do not want that. But if it happens, have your fire extinguisher. Make sure it's an ABC. Make sure it's prepped and ready for grease. With that public service announcement out of the way, we got a fresh batch of snakehead all fried up, and we are rocking and rolling with round number 2, and we're just going to continue this process till it's all done. So a lot of you might be wondering, what does this snakehead look like? We don't know if it's dark meat, if it's white meat. We don't know what this thing's going to turn out to be, but let me tell you this. This is absolutely magical. Would you watch this? This is fried up snakehead. And I want you to see what this looks like in the center. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely incredible. This is delicious. Snakehead's so good, you want to slap your mama. So get you some. Get to work. Catch them snakeheads. Fry them up. You are not going to outbelieve how incredible this fish tastes. Thank you very much. I hope you have another fine day full of fun and adventure. Get you some snakehead. Eat it up. It's delicious.